Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Anthony and today we are going to look at expression and statement. We'll be looking at statements and types of statements. You also look at expressions and types of expressions. So when we say expression, it is a combination of variables, operands and operators. So variables stores values or results of expression, and operands are entitled as operators act on. It represents the data in an expression. Operators are mathematical symbols used for specific operations. So let's look at this. So expressions. So many consist of one or more operands. Many consist of zero or more operators to produce a value. So for example of an expression, you have a plus b, and which we have c, and then we have s equals a plus b. We get to know that the a is the operand, and then we have the operator and then the operand. So a plus b, so we have operand 1, and then we have the operator with the plus sign, and then we have the operand 2 with the b. Now let's look at types of expressions. So here are some types of expression. We have the constant expression, the bit width expression, the pointer expression, logic expression, relational expression, floating expression, and then integral expression. As you can see, if all operands are integer, expression is called an integral expression, and if all operands are floating point, expression is called a floating point expression. An integral expression yields integral result, and a floating point expression yields a floating point result. So mixed expression has operands of different data types. It contains integers and floating point. So here's an example, which we have the 2 plus 3.5, and we have 6 divided by 4 plus 12.9, and we have the 5.4 which means multiplication. So times 2 minus 13.6 plus 18 divided by 2. Now this mixed expression. Now let's look at conditional expressions. So for conditional expression, where the value produced depends on the value of a condition. We also have the relational expression is yield results of type Boolean, which takes a value true or false. And we also have the logical expression. Logical expression combines two or more relational expressions and produce Boolean type results. Now let's also look at pointer expression. Pointer expression produce address variables. For example, which we have the ampersand with x, and then we have the ptr, and then ptr plus plus. So that's the pointer expression. And we have the ending expression. Ending expression tells the system that you are done with your expression instructions or expression creation, using the semicolon to mark or show the end of an expression. So for each expression we use the semicolon to tell the system that you have ended your instructions. Now let's look at comments used to make reading and understanding programs much more pleasant. Comments are helpful in skipping the execution of some part of the code. Comments are used for easier debugging. So we have single line comment. It applies comment to a single line only. The compiler ignores any text after using this backslash, and it will not be executed. So it's used double forward slash. Sorry, it's used double forward slash. So it will ignore this line when you run the system. It will ignore the line, or it will ignore what you have said over there when you use a double forward slash. We have multiple line comment. So for the multiple line comment, it occupies many lines of code. It starts with the forward slash with the asterisk and ends with an asterisk and the forward slash. So whatever is in between this is the comment. The system ignores that comment, as you can see. Now let's look at indentations. It makes code readability and understanding much more pleasant. Each NS code block should be properly indented and spaced with a tab space. All braces should start from a new line, then the code comes following the end braces for a new line. The indentation, it is mainly used for code inside looping statements and control structures. It can be used in functions when the loop and control structures are used in them. So I can see. Now let's look at statements. A statement is a single instruction that performs an action. Statements are the building blocks of a C++. Types of statements: we have the selection statement used in decision making with the if and switch. And you have the iterative statement used to express iterative or tasks with the for while do while. And then we also have the expression statement, the statement used to execute expressions. We also have the declaration statement used to introduce new variables or constants with the int h. And we have the jump statements used to manipulate normal execution of codes with the break, continue, go to. So we also have the compound statement that groups multiple statements together. They are blocks of code enclosed in curly braces. Let's look at selection statements. Selection statements used for decision making in C++. So when you want to use the selection process, you have to bring the if condition statement, or you use the switch condition statement. So for the if condition statement, you use the structure if, then you bring the parentheses, and then you bring the expression, the curly braces, and then you bring the expression. So this is an example of an if statement. So if age is greater than 18, then you print out student can vote. So this is a condition statement. And the if while statement. If the if while statement can be used to choose between two conditional statements. So the first statement you use the if, and the second statement you use the else. Now let's look at the NS if statement. The NS if statement can be used to choose between conditional statements with NS conditions. Yeah. So we have the if, and then there's another if with expression, and then it comes after, then the statement comes after. Now let's look at switch statements. So the switch statement allows you to choose between multiple alternatives, comparing the value of one expression with multiple constructs. So the expression in switch statements must be an integral type, that the integer, character, or boolean. So switch statements, the constants must be different and can only be integral type. So this is how you use the switch statement. So you type in the switch, and then you put in the expression. And we already look at the expression, and then you use the case 1. You use case, you use the case and stating this, then you state your statement, or you input your statement, and then you end, or you break that statement. So telling the system that for case 1 you have ended a statement, and then you are moving to another case. Now let's look at the break statement. The break statement exists from a switch or loops immediately. So break keyword can be used to jump to the first statement that follows a switch or a loop. So the keyword breaks, that means it breaks the statement or the first statement to jump to the next. We have the continue statement. The continue statement execution after the continuous statement continues execution after the condition is accomplished. It is used in loops and has the opposite effect to break. That is, the next loop is begun immediately. So instead of you using the break, you can use the continue. Now let's look at the operators. The operators are mathematical symbols used for specific operations. We have the plus, minus, question mark, the font size, and then we have the less than, and then the greater than. So types of operators: we have the arithmetic operator, the assignment operator, conditional operator, relational operators, and then we have the logic operator. So arithmetic operator with the addition, subtracting, multiplication, division, and then the percentage, which is the remainder. And then we also have the logical operators used to express logic. Returns a Boolean result. Use the n symbols or exclamation marks symbols. Yeah. Or you use the or. So you can see from the stroke is the or, and then the exclamation is the not. Now let's look at conditional operators. The conditional operator with the question mark is used to form an expression that produces either of true values depending on the value of some conditions. Now let's look at increment operators. So used to express increment in a value can be used as a prefix or postfix operator. Use the plus plus operator. So if you want to use the increment operator, you have to add plus plus operator. And now let's look at the decrement operator with the minus. You use the minus sign to do the defeat operator. Now we have operator precede. We have the operator precedence or operator inside of a bracket with which is the multiplication, division, and the remainder are the same level of precedence and are evaluated next. So the plus and minus have the same level of precedence and are evaluated last. When operators are on the same level, it performs from left to right. It performs from left to right. So you guys should know about the precedence. Yes. So today will be so I'll continue the rest of this session in my next section. Thank you. Bye bye.